Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this episode, well, I am beyond excited because we are talking about the arrival of the good, the bad, and the ugly on the 4K Ultra HD format. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I can think of no channel better suited to talk about this movie on this format than Serial at Midnight. We love Kino Lorber Studio Classics. Our love of the label speaks for itself. I love Westerns. We've done multiple Western spotlights here. And now we have the best, one of the most famous and beloved Westerns of all time on the premium format, the premium physical media format, which is the 4K Ultra HD format. It's so hard to talk about this movie at this point in the game because it's, of course, so influential. It's so important. I think that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the Western by which so many of us, for decades now, so many of us have entered into Westerns through the doorway of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's pop, it's commercial, it's rock and roll. It's also incredibly wonderful. It's a masterpiece. I really believe that what Sergio Leone did with this movie is one of the greatest cinema achievements of all time. The storytelling, the cinematography, he came from lensing things, so he really knew how to film a frame. He really knew what he was going for as far as compositions. It's like so many shots are like a postcard. So much so when we think about the Western, I think so many of us think about Sergio Leone's creation. We're thinking about the tight close-ups on the eyes. We're thinking about that little cigar. We're thinking about the hand dangling over the gun before a shootout. The music of Ennio Morricone at the top of his game. Sergio Leone as a director at the top of his game. Clint Eastwood coming off of the success of Rawhide in the United States. Arguably never cooler than in these movies. We got Clint Eastwood. We've got Lee Van Cleef, Eli Wallach. It's so good. It is the Lord of the Rings of the Western genre. I really believe that. Especially if you add in the other two, A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, the trilogy is it's as good as any classic trilogy that I can think of. And what it does for the Western genre is it opens it up to a whole new generation. It makes it fun, approachable, cool. I love this movie. As I was watching it again, because of course I watched it before I could talk to you guys about it, I was just mesmerized by this film. It has such a power. This movie's perfect. Nothing should be added, nothing should be taken away. Now there is that extended cut. We're going to talk about that in just a second. This is the theatrical cut plus. Let's say a theatrical cut plus. Pin in that. But, I was watching this movie and I'm just like overwhelmed with emotion multiple times through the movie. Not because there's anything particularly sad, but because I link it to my love of I'm a cinephile, right? I'm not just a collector. I'm not just a Blu-ray collector. I'm a movie freak and I bleed this stuff. And when I see Tuco arrive at the cemetery with crosses, and I hear the ecstasy of gold begin. Ding, 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 ding. Man, there is nothing. If you could bottle that feeling, oh my goodness. Well, you can. You can buy the Blu-ray because you can relive it. Or the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. So let's talk about the transfer. So this has been the subject of of much discussion in the online community. Kino Lorber released the Dollars trilogy, the Clint Eastwood Man with No Name trilogy, about a year or so ago on Blu-ray. And all of those were sourced from new transfers from Italy. I believe they were all done in Italy. Look, I had this movie VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. This is the MGM Blu-ray from about 2010. To my eyes, this 4K presentation blows every other presentation of this movie I've ever seen out of the water. It blows up the bridge of every other presentation. It looks magnificent. Now it's got a lot of grain. There are some people who think that high definition and grain don't go together. I continue to get comments from people, and I see online people will say, I thought this was HD. There's grain everywhere. The grain is there because of the HD presentation. Film is grain. The image of film is composed of millions of tiny pieces of grain. That's how film works. Now, you can tame that as they do. If you notice, a lot of more popular, more modern, more crowd-pleasing movies, I'm thinking of like the Back to the Future movies, they'll use DNR on that to make the grain less noticeable and kind of just gives it a wash. The downside of that is you end up taking out some of the background detail. I am one of those people who loves film grain. I know not everybody does. I love film. I love film grain. I say leave it alone. Your mileage may vary. It's really going to come down to personal preference. But for my money, I want all the grain I can get if that's what the original image looks like. Do not smooth it with digital technology. They've even left in, some people are going to talk about this, they've left in, like if there was a hair in the gate of the camera, sometimes you'll see a hair in a frame, or there'll be a shot and you'll see a hair flickering on the bottom. Nothing's been taken out. They didn't take out anything like that. In fact, I have a screenshot I specifically want to show you guys. Quick word about these screenshots, by the way. I took these with my phone. I have no way of doing an actual 4K scan. I don't have equipment to give me the ability to do a 4K screenshot. And even if I did, you wouldn't be seeing it in 4K anyway, because YouTube compresses the ever-loving life out of this stuff. So this is just like a 720p shot, but it's to illustrate. So the frame that I think you're seeing right now, you can see the little hair at the top. You can also see the fly on Tuco's face. And I did this for a reason, because that fly is as part of the film as the hair is, right? And vice versa. I mean, this is what happened. Don't alter the film. Don't change things. Don't take things out of the frame. Leave it like it is. Leave it alone. So that's what they've done here. And I really do like the presentation. And it's if you don't own the good, the bad, and the ugly already, there's no option. There's not a choice. It's not a debate for you, because this, first of all, this awesome slipcover, I think this is limited to the first 5,000 units. We have alternate art. This is a reversible wrap, which the other side is this art as well. But we have this reversible wrap. You get the movie on the 4K format with the bonuses, and you get the movie on Blu-ray. So if you don't have it, buy this version. This is the one you want to get. If you're not 4K ready yet and you don't own this movie, buy this. And when you are 4K ready, because you will be, 4Ks are the new standard for TV. Your next TV will be a 4K TV. Maybe it'll be an 8K TV. If it is an 8K TV, there's no 8K discs for you right now. I don't think there ever will be, but this is the one you want to get. If you do already own this movie, like if you bought it previously, the 4K restorations on a Blu-ray, it's really going to come down to how much of an improved experience you want. But I think that the difference is there. The Blu-ray is compressed. That 4K transfer is compressed onto a 50 gigabyte disc. This is a 100 gigabyte 4K disc. It's a triple layer. That's right. The 4K is twice the size in capacity as the Blu-ray. And it really benefits the movie. Again, the grain, the depth of image, what they're really able to pull out of that 35 millimeter image, it's stunning. It's magnificent. And for those of us that love this movie, I legitimately don't think it's ever going to look better than this. Maybe someone will come along at some point and give it an 8K scan. I doubt it, but if they do, I can't imagine it's going to look any better than it does here for us in this edition. So here's what you also need to know. It's loaded with special features. Now, it doesn't have everything that's ever been committed to film, but I am going to kind of rattle off some stuff here for you guys, because I got notes. Let me pull up my my notes here. So the 4K disc itself has it's got the 162-minute theatrical cut. Now, there was a lot of debate about this as well, because Kino Lorber put the option out to fans. We got to vote on which version we wanted on 4K. I voted for theatrical. Always preserve the theatrical experience first. You can do future cuts. You can do director's cuts, extended cuts. Do the theatrical first, and then you can play around with other stuff. But here's the thing. You're kind of covered there too, because the deleted scenes that would make up the extended cuts, you add those to the 162-minute running time, you've essentially got the 179 minutes of footage. That would be in the alternate or extended or however you want to frame that cut. They've really gone, they've gone all out with some of this stuff. They've got a lot of the optical flip ending in Tuco's neck back around the noose. That's 14 frames. That's less than a second, right? Tuco shoving the open close sign into the storekeeper's mouth. That's 5 seconds, 10 frames. An extreme close-up of Blondie's eyes shortly before Tuco's gang comes barging in through the door. 1 second, 14 frames. The fade up to Tuco. You see where we're going here. There's a lot of stuff here that's just for the completist, just for the mega fan. There's an audio commentary by film historian Tim Lucas on the Blu-ray and on the 4K disc. Leone's West, the making of documentary, Il Maestro, Ennio Morricone, and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, parts 1 and 2 of that feature. By the way, some of these features go back to the MGM Blu-ray days, so they are well over a decade old. Kudos to Kino for licensing these and presenting them for us so that we can, if I don't want to hang on to my MGM disc, I don't have to. The Man Who Lost the Civil War, this documentary about the Civil War, kind of talking about how Leone really wanted historical accuracy for his film and what he brought to it. A reconstruction of the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Deleted scenes. There's vignettes. There's 4 vignettes. Multiple deleted scenes. The optical flip that we were talking about. Audio is 5.1 surround and 2.0 mono. It's got subtitles. It's got an image gallery. Theatrical trailers for the US, Germany, France. It's got a lot there. Again, I don't think it contains quite everything that the previous Kino Lorber edition has on it, but I think if you're comfortable with not having the extended cut all edited together, and you prefer or you value the theatrical cut, I think this is all you need. You know what? That's up to you. I'll leave that up to you. But the movie is undeniably one of the greatest achievements. That sounds like hyperbole, right? Like, it sounds like I'm overpraising it. This is one of the greatest Westerns ever made. Let me say this, too. If you're watching this movie for the first time, as some of you guys will be, because I hear from you guys, either you're only into high-definition movies. So maybe you haven't watched this on Blu-ray, and some of you guys are only into 4K, in which point, man, you're seeing like only about 1% of anything that was ever made. So hopefully you open up a little bit. But if this is your first time coming to this movie, you may be, it's tricky when things are so praised and so beloved. Your initial reaction to this movie may not be as stunning and as powerful as it is for someone else. But I really think, it's the burden of expectation is what it is. You're expecting to be smacked around and hit over the face with it. Live with it. Take some time, revisit it over the months, over the years. I think you will come to understand why this is one of the most revered experiences. Why Quentin Tarantino says that Sergio Leone, this is the best directed movie of all time. He doesn't say it's the greatest movie. He says it's the best directed movie. And I'm going to say, I don't know that I can argue with it. Leone is a powerhouse. What he does here is absolutely stunning. So, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I mean, what is there left to say? Leone takes 30 minutes just to introduce the characters. He takes an hour to set up the plot. And I love every minute of it. In fact, I want to go watch it again. It's an amazing film. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I would like to know what you think about it. Do you plan to upgrade? Listen, the price is right. Kino Lorber, it's like $27.99. You get the 4K and the Blu-ray. Hard to argue with that. Go to KinoLorber.com, Kino Lorber Studio Classics. You know what? I'm going to put links to all this in the description of this video. You just scroll under me and you'll see links to where you can pick this up. Highly, highly recommended, not just for the top-notch 4K presentation, but for the majesty of film at its best. Long live the Westerns. Long live Sergio Leone. Long live Ennio Morricone. What they have given us is here forever. These songs, these images, they are here forever. Thanks, guys. Thank you so very much. Thanks to Kino Lorber. Take care. And until next time, I will catch you later.